Welcome to IndieQuest, a celebration of the indie and obscure, an indie video game podcast that has a loaded god complex, cock it and pull it. I'm your host, Josh, and here is my co-host, Steve. How you doing, man?
I'm doing better now. Anytime you can just cram a little Fall Out Boy into my life, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been what, 2 years, 7 years? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for everyone listening to the feed because we went on our unofficial, we'll call it our summer vacation. We took our summer vacation early, had a couple months with no uploads. But then we did have some episodes in the hopper, so we came back from the hiatus with basically a normal episode. And then now here we are doing a catch-up episode after that, sort of like back on the regular schedule. So we bait and switched everyone. They think that we're just back to regular old IndieQuest, but no, sir.
Just to explain to everybody what's going on, because I don't think a lot of people would know if they listen to this, is I moved cross-country, so I've been kind of staying with family, and I haven't had a very reliable setup to do podcasting and, the hobby stuff that I'm into. So I finally have some kind of a makeshift setup enough to do shows again. So here I am.
Heck yeah. Good to have you back. And I've been nowhere. I've just been around, but I've been betraying the good people of IndieQuest because during our hiatus, I was playing my I was getting my AAA games out of the way so that it's just all indie from here on. You
said you just been playing Pokemon Unite and that's it. Like you forgot to eat and that's pretty much all you've been playing. Like just in a cold sweat in the corner, just with your Switch playing that game.
Yeah, I think that a free to play MOBA by Tencent is about based on a mega popular existing franchise, is probably about the farthest thing away from an indie game that I could possibly be playing. But
yeah.
You know what? We're back. We're at it. We're gonna chat about some indie games here coming up, and then it's gonna be back to business as usual. The quest log hasn't gone anywhere. Honestly, we were just giving everyone an opportunity to get caught up on the quest log. Get those games played, and now you got a rumbling tummy. You're begging for another plate full of video games, and so we'll start giving those to you here soon.
So, just to give context, how long it's been since we recorded. When on this old doc here, I'm looking at it says Steve played Crumble. How long ago did you play Crumble?
Gosh, it was a while back. Hang on, I can give you the exact date because people are interested in that type of thing. Oh, you know, I got my spreadsheet. You got to keep that track of when and where you beat things. All right, so I finished Crumble, April 26th, which is 3 months ago.
Yeah, so we probably recorded a couple weeks after that, or a week and a half after that, or whatever. So you guys can do the math there. Yeah, that's how long it's been since we sat down and recorded. I think it was May 14th or something around there. But yeah. The last episode you guys heard was then, and now it's July 28th, almost August. So there's a little bit of chunk of time missing there, but we are back. So that's good news. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, me too. Very excited. And without spoiling anything, I did actually play some indie stuff in that time away, and there's at least one or two games that I definitely will be bringing to future episodes. So it was nice for me to get a good backlog going of indie gems.
Yeah, and honestly, I haven't played very many video games at all, but there was one game I did want to talk to you about. Because, okay, so imagine this. I don't have any consoles hooked up. I don't have my PC hooked up. Nothing's going on. And I'm like, okay, I got my Switch that has Joy-Con drift, but, I can make do. You put some alcohol in it. It works for a couple days, and then it's okay again. And then it starts to drift again. But neither this here nor there. I started playing some more West of Loathing handheld, the game that was on my pile of shame that I got assigned. And let's see, I'm probably around 7 or 8 hours in, and I'm just not liking this game at all. I think it has funny moments, but the gameplay itself is just extremely boring. I fell asleep playing it 4 times.
I mean, we can't all be cultured. We can't all have taste, okay? It's not my fault if I offer you up a gourmet cheese platter, and you're like, no, give me that Kraft American Singles.
And the thing is, the humor's right there up my alley. I laughed a lot of times. It's just the gameplay itself. It's just very dull to me. I don't know. I think the game itself is crafted very well though. But to me, I'm not going to bring it to the quest log, so that's going to just scratch that off my pile of shame. I'm retiring it. I think that's the first game that I've retired on the podcast. Starting on a really negative note, I guess here, but
No kidding. It's okay, because what that means is I'll just bring it to the quest log myself,
okay.
and then we can have a debate about where it belongs on the quest log. Because I mean, I would actually agree with you that like the combat is. To me, it was just like serviceable. It's just a turn-based RPG, very basic. But the thing about that game that I loved is that the writing and the wit, very funny, good attention to detail with the comedy, like jokes crammed everywhere. They're good about like remembering jokes and like bringing them back up later and stuff. It's just super creative. So I think it's probably the funniest game I've ever played.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So the thing is, I might give it some more time. This isn't me like burning it in a fire or anything. It's just me saying right now I can't get into it. So we'll see.
You don't need to soften the blow. I understand. If you're gonna retire it, just retire it. All right. Just look it and me square in the eyes and say, you know what? Enough is enough. It's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Enough is enough. It's not going to happen. There you go.
I can't believe you just said it. No, it's all good. I appreciate you. Honestly, 7 or 8 hours is a long time to put into a game. So I don't think anyone could blame you for not trying.
Yeah. And the thing is honestly, maybe it's just because I was in a bad mood. Like I didn't have my PS5 hooked up, and I've been like kind of itching to play some more PS5. So maybe I was just like, I'm playing a stupid Switch right now. I want to be playing PS5. You know, maybe I was just a little bitter about that, and that kind of like, screwed with my opinion of the game. Which no, I don't think so. I was playing Link to the Past for the first time, which is not an indie game, and enjoying the hell out of that. Which I'm probably going to beat that for the very first time soon. So that's cool. But yeah, besides that,
very nice.
Yeah, I was playing that, and then I would go to West of Loathing like, I'm not feeling this, and then I would just be like, no, I'm gonna go be pink hair Link for a little bit and slash some dudes. So, yeah.
I get it. And I mean, I'm assuming not, because you've been in, uproot your entire life, move across the country, change jobs, change environments, change weather, change everything. Mm-hmm. Have you had a chance to even poke at any other indie stuff, or have you been pretty much just all Zelda all the time?
I'm trying to think what else I've played. Like, it's been mostly just living life, doing stuff in life stuff. I haven't really done too many video gaming. I know that's really terrible for a video game podcast, but I can get back to it. Coming up, I have some plans to play some stuff, but just I played more Hades. I did some more Hades runs on my computer when I hooked it up, just kind of like feeling it out again. And, that's always fun, but I haven't really dug into anything new recently. How about you?
I mean, I played a few things in the time away. Some of them I will bring to the quest log. Like, for example, without getting too deep into it here, I played Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
Oh,
and that will definitely go to the quest log. I will at least say now that it is an excellent game, and I would highly recommend people play it. But we'll go more into specifics on that.
That's one I'm looking at. I'm like, it's so cheerful and pretty and cute, and I want to play it, and it looks fun. And I watched you stream probably like an hour of it or so, and I was like, man, this looks okay. I need to turn the stream off because I'm going to get something fun spoiled for myself. And then I went away. But yeah, I definitely want to check that out as soon as I can.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll look forward to when you have a chance to check it out and we can both talk about it. But I played some other stuff too. I played If Found, which, if I'm not mistaken, we did talk about on a previous IndieQuest in some capacity. I don't remember how it came up, but I'm pretty sure we've talked about this game, right?
We talked. I think we might have just been like, Annapurna makes cool games, and this is one of them. I think that's only something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to some old friend that I met when I was in high school, and we're finally reconnecting. That's how long it's been, so I can't remember anything.
Yeah, I can't either, honestly. If you were like, name one game that you've ever talked about in the past, I'd be like, I don't know. Speaking of, man, to just bounce all over the place here.
Yeah, no worries.
Speaking of Annapurna, At the time of us recording this, Annapurna is having their like Summer Game Fest showcase tomorrow
Is that
at
today?
like noon.
It's tomorrow?
Afternoon.
I gotta watch that.
So, oof,
Yeah.
I cannot wait. So I think we'll get. Well, I'll tell you what I think we're gonna get. And let me know if there's anything else you think we're gonna see.
Okay.
I think that we're gonna definitely get confirmation of all these teases of the Outer Wilds DLC.
Yes.
Something with Eye of the Universe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to see how that'll work. I think we'll probably get like a Stray release date.
Yep.
And then probably an announcement for like one new project at the very least. But my pie in the sky wish is I hope that they have another something else Sayonara Wild Hearts lined up. Please give me more Sayonara Wild Hearts.
What if they just put out a sequel? Like, here you go. 2.
That'd be amazing. It would be like their sophomore album, right?
Or maybe like something else Wild Hearts, like Aloha Wild Hearts, I don't know. Just something different, I don't
Sugar, we're going down Wild Hearts.
know. Sure. No.
But yeah, that's what I think. Anything else you think that they'll show?
I don't have any like real predictions. You pretty much said the main one I was caring about is the Outer Wilds. I mean, all that stuff sounds awesome, but I just want to know what that DLC is. I'm super curious because it's on a 22-minute loop, and it has a kind of finite storyline. So what is that going to be about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like is it going to be like a self-contained thing, or is there going to be like an update that peppers the entire world with little bits and bobs?
If they did
they
that,
can't just
oh my
they
God.
can't just add like a planet, because that game is not. And I'll talk around spoilers as much as I can, but that game's not about just going to a place and learn everything about that place. It's all about exploring the entire context of the world you're in. So, I'll be really interested to see if it's like a real seamless blend across the entire world, or if it's like the typical sort of AAA expansion model, which is like they add a boat on the coast of wherever the island is, and you take the boat to the new island, and that's now where you explore.
Like Ghost of Tsushima, like they're doing there. No, but I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's a prequel. Maybe it's like this is how this whole 22-minute loop gets set up, and you get to play that story, which I won't spoil any of it, which you learn by playing the game. Maybe you get to play like a walking simulator, like 2-hour thing that sets up the rest or something. I would play that. That'd be cool. There's a lot of things they could do. So.
Be still my beating heart.
Yeah, whatever it is, me and you are going to probably be talking about it here, and definitely going to be playing it right when it comes out, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. This is your Annapurna fan cast. That's 100% true. They just had a game that came out that I haven't tried yet. It's The Last Stop, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, I heard about it, and a lot of people were praising it, and it's actually seems like it's not too long, a few hours long. What was that game where you were dead and you were like a detective? I haven't played that one either. I Am Dead, right?
Oh, I Am Dead, yeah. I'll say that's the only Annapurna interactive game that I have bounced off of.
You didn't like it?
It was cool. It was pretty slow paced. It's a lot of exploring these spaces and like getting invested in the minutia and learning about the characters and stuff. And there wasn't a lot of like interactive puzzle solving or anything. It was kind of like a mixture between like a walking sim and like seek and hunt. What are those games called? Like where you're hunting for objects in the environment.
Just image hunting? There's a word for it. I know what you're talking about. Like it's a lot of mobile games are that where you're just trying to find the object in the environment, right? Specifically,
yeah. So it was like a mixture of that with like a little bit of walking sim, and it was just very dialogue heavy. And at the time, I wasn't. I was having the same thing you were, where I was like, I'm just not feeling staring at my Switch right now. I wanna be playing something else. So I'll go back to it. I definitely will. But it was not bad at all.
So what you're saying, it's the worst game you've ever played?
Maybe the worst Annapurna interactive game I've ever played. But I mean, that's still pretty good. It's like,
yeah, I agree.
It's still pretty tasty.
Cool. All right, well, I guess I thought catching up would take longer. I guess, but like I said, it's like seeing an old friend. We're just talking. It's like normal. Um, I guess if you want to hear more about my life and stuff, I'm gonna eventually do a podcast of Frantic Thoughts, which is my show where I'll go into more detail about stuff. But yeah, we're here. You know what happened?
here.
You know what happened like about, I don't know, 14 months ago, 3 months ago, E3. And there was like a ton of games announced. And the thing is before I moved, I was like texting you on Discord. I was like, "Hey Steve, let's do a podcast about our favorite like E3 announcements." And then like a month went by, and like another month went by, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But I guess a cool a way we could talk about games is just kind of bring up some that we're kind of like that's kind of sticking on our radar, some little maybe like hidden gems, if you will, for indie games coming up this year. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good. We picked, again, the perfect time to do this because it's been months since E3, so we've had plenty of time to forget most of that. And it's right before the Annapurna Showcase, so right before the stuff that we would definitely remember. So we're right in that sweet spot of fuzzy memories of stuff that's announced.
You want me to go first? I have one here.
Yeah, why don't you hit me with a game?
All right, so there's a game called. Okay, so there's this guy who made a game called Dog Airport Simulator or something. Have you seen that game?
No, how can that be a simulator?
It's this dog
What are you
airport
simulating?
alien simulator. Oh my god, now I need to know what it's called. But anyway, he's making a new game called El Paso Elsewhere. And this game looks pretty cool. I'm looking up this. Okay, the name of the game is An Airport for Aliens Currently Run by Dogs. And that's the name of a game that just came out this year.
Okay, that is like maybe the best name I've ever heard.
And that
for a
game's
game.
already out. And he took stock photos of dogs, right? Populated this giant airport in 3D space, first person. And you go around, you talk to him, and it has like a really weird storyline that connects everything together. So I was like, okay, I'm interested in this game, so I'm gonna follow this creator. You know, this the creator of that, which his name is Xavier. It's like Xavier with an extra L in the middle. Xavier. Xavier. I don't know how to say his name. Nelson
We're
Jr.
not cutting any of this out. You're just gonna keep running through it till you get it right.
At Rit Nelson on Twitter. So I followed him there, and then he's like, "Hey, check out this new game." So take like 32-bit style art style, running around third person, Mad Max diving everywhere with bullet time, werewolves, and it has like a neo-noir setting. You kill vampires, you fall in love with some chick, and there's hip-hop music playing in the background. Does that sound like fun?
That sounds like a Mad Lib.
Yeah.
That's like, what are you talking about? Like, you could have said anything. You could have said any words halfway through that, and I would have had to believe you because it's so random.
It's random, but the trailer they showed is like this dude in a cemetery doing like, you know, the dodge rolls and dives of like you know, what's it called, bullet time, and then like shooting werewolves in the face. So looks like fun. I'm gonna play it. It's supposed to come out. I don't think it's supposed to come out this year. I think it's a next year game. But yeah. So let's see. You can do. Let me see. This is some descriptions for it. You can do cool slow motion dives while firing your gun, and your ex-girlfriend is Dracula, not Dracula, with an extra E at the end. And the chaos ensues.
Is that like Dracula Bay?
Pretty much.
Dracula and Bay combined?
I guess so. So it looks weird, just like the airport dog simulator thing I talked about. So I've been kind of like in that weird rabbit hole where they're looking at creators making just stuff that's kind of out there. So that looked pretty fun.
Yeah, please play that and talk to me about it. My brain can like not contain all the information that you just told me, but okay.
Yeah, so that game's
Sounds good.
Sorry, that game's called El Paso Elsewhere. If you want to look it up. What's your game? What's your first
cool.
game you want to talk about today?
I've got like a mix of them here. So, and I should say, I'm mostly pulling these off the top of my head. I did jot down a quick list, but I didn't do any research. So, the first one the one I would say more than any other game that I hadn't seen before that jumped out to me at E3 was Fire Girl. Do you remember seeing the trailer for this game?
I think so. I'm gonna look it up, but go ahead and talk about it for a minute while I look it up.
Yeah. So it's a platformer. It's a 2.5D platformer where you play as this girl firefighter, and the art style it reminds me a lot of like Octopath Traveler. It has sort of that like 2.5D HD vibe to it, where it's 2D sprites on 3D backgrounds, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it had an excellent trailer. Like, it just really stuck out as one of the coolest looking games. I think firefighting is always like a kind of fun concept for a game. You know, like Burning Rangers and other like firefighter arcade games are usually more fun than you'd expect. And yeah, I knew nothing about it. It's by a studio named Dejima, and I'm not sure what else they've done, if anything. But yeah, it seems awesome.
I was looking at a trailer for that. It does definitely have a striking art style, and like you said, firefighting is kind of one of those things where when it comes out in a game, you kind of want to try it out. What was that? There's a PS2 firefighting game that was third person. I feel like did you ever play that? I don't know the name of it, honestly.
I'm trying to. Was it like Firefighter FD17 or something?
I think
like
it
that?
was. Yeah, some like weird name, but yeah, I definitely rented that back then when you could rent games. So yeah, I mean, give me a 2.5 day, almost a 2.5.
Give me a 2.5 day vacation. So just put my feet up, just kick back, relax. You know what we call that? We call that a weekend, buddy.
Well, you get that 0.5 day. It was the Friday night, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, give me a 2.5D game, cool art style, and the gameplay looks fun too. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. You just reminded me of that. Like, you brought the memory back up as soon as you said it. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And I've heard both of the term Metroidvania and roguelike thrown around, or roguelite thrown around for this one. So I don't know. I think everything is a roguelite basically. So yeah. I don't know what to assume that will actually mean, but yeah, I'll definitely keep my eyes on that one.
Like run based somewhat or whatever. And you know, I saw a tweet. It was like Metroidvania. The only true Metroidvania is if Samus goes and starts to try to fight Alucard or something. Anyway.
On Polykill, we've started adopting the phrase gated exploration.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep that going. I think you and I adopted that one too.
I've heard you say that specifically. So, and then of course we got Splatformer, which definitely I didn't steal from anywhere else. That was my idea. Okay, I got a game for you here. It's been announced for a while, but they showed a pretty in-depth gameplay snippet of it, and it's supposed to come out either late this year or early next year. It's called Atomic Heart. Have you heard of this game?
I mean, a little peek behind the curtain here. I heard about it from you very briefly right before we recorded, but generally, no, I don't know anything about this game at all.
Okay, so I was hyping it up to you. I was saying the style and vibe of it. If someone said this is BioShock 3, I would be like, hell yeah, this is BioShock 3. I wouldn't like question it. Because it's first-person game. You got some plasmid-like powers. There's cosmic horror, but it kind of has more of it's in the Soviet Russia setting, and it's post-apocalyptic too. And you play as according here, it says a trained KGB agent with a huge variety of weapons, including their own body, to fight against a variety of machines trying to take over the USSR. So it's like an alternate history, kind of like how BioShock does their thing. So I was like, yeah, kind of, sort of, but it does have. That's just maybe being a little reductive, but I'm trying to hype it up at the same time. I don't know, because it's very unique looking. It's very singular, the way it shows its art style and stuff. Every single trailer I've seen of this has a lot of like tangly, dangly bits on the monsters, kind of like tentacles coming out of everywhere, and you have to shoot them, and it's just first person horror, so it looks extremely impressive. The graphics are some of the best graphics I've seen, like, period. And it's coming from a very small indie team, and it just looks very visceral, and it's just the type of game I feel like I can get immersed in. So I'm pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, and I feel like we we kind of end up having a bit of a stereotype on IndieQuest. Maybe just indies in general of stuff being very, very cutesy, very like heartwarming, just like very. We're a sucker for like a touching, personal, emotional story, and this is like you're bucking all the stereotypes here with this one. I'm kind of liking it. So it seems it is a game that I would have passed right over if you hadn't brought my attention to it. So I'm intrigued to learn more.
There was a pretty good trailer during E3 during the Xbox showcase. So if you want to see some gameplay, I would say check that one out. And it has a photo mode, so I'm going to be pretty excited to take some pictures in there of some me shooting a hole inside of some weird cosmic horror beast. Sounds fun.
Do you have a folder on your desktop that's just all the like photo mode pictures you've ever taken?
I kind of should. I should do that. I just have them on Twitter, and I just look up the hashtag like PS4 share or 5 share or whatever, and that's how I usually find them. But I probably should just have like a huge folder of like the best of or just all of them. But yeah, every time there's a photo mode in the game, and I love the game, I take pictures as much as I play the game. So, good times.
Yeah, I think that I really think you should, because like imagine 15 years from now being able to go back and look through that folder and like see all the memories of the games you'd played. It's like have you ever seen like someone who was a WoW player or an MMO player back in like 2005 2006, and they show you all their screenshots of like, this is when I first beat this raid and stuff, and it's just like a weird like very specific slice of nostalgia.
Yeah, I feel the same way about my old Minecraft videos, because I still have them up there on my old channel, and I'll like occasionally go, oh yeah, I remember that world. I remember building like that. So I understand that, like, even though it's not like forever ago, like 8 or 9, 10 years ago, whatever, it still feels like that was a different person doing that. So that's kind of cool to see my thought process 10 years ago doing that. So I guess, yeah, I should do it. The game that actually got me into like the photo mode thing was Horizon Zero Dawn. I feel like that's maybe the first one that had one that was like really official. So yeah, ever since they put that in there, I used that, and then I did Spider-Man, and then from there I keep going. So any game that has one, I get pretty hyped about.
I like it. And that video is a great thing to do too. I'd like looking at your old videos. I mean, that's what we're doing with podcasts too. I just I mean, it's a much shorter time frame, but just like a week or two ago, I was cleaning up all the clips on my Twitch channel that people have taken of like different silly things that have happened. And some of those streams, I was looking back on it, and I was like, man, I'm like getting nostalgic for a stream that happened like 10 months ago. Like,
yeah,
it was so much fun to go back and watch those. And I was like, you know what? I should start downloading my streams and uploading them to a channel. Like, for a long time I didn't, because I was like, the world doesn't need another like gameplay upload channel from a Twitch streamer. Like, no one cares about that. And I was like, well, you know what? I kind of don't care if anyone watches it. I just want to have a record of all the stuff I played. So if I ever want to go back and be like, yeah, what did I think of, Shadow of the Beast or Dragon Age or Crumble or Where the Bees Make Honey? Like, I can go back and look at that old footage and just get nostalgic. So I think I'm going to start doing that, and that is my petition for you to start the folder on your desktop for your photo mode.
When I watch people I like and their streamers, like Giant Bomb, I'll go back and watch the archives more than I watch it live, because I usually can't catch it live. So I don't mind it, I like the idea of having a channel there. It's like, oh, what did Steve stream? Okay, I can put that on in the background. Even I know VODs exist, whatever, but you know what I mean. I like the idea of it living in perpetuity there,
Yep. No, I totally agree. So yeah, if it offers that to anyone, cool. But I think that's the plan moving forward. But
sorry, I was gonna say selfishly for you, it's nice to look back on too. So
yeah, and that's all that really matters to me. But you know what? That's enough looking back. Why don't we look forward?
Okay.
What's another game?
Another game, a little game called Oxenfree, which I liked quite a bit. I did have
that game's already out. I think you'll be disappointed to learn it's been out for many years, in fact.
So I liked the game quite a bit. I played it a couple times. I had some minor complaints with that game, which I guess if one of us brings us to IndieQuest, I can talk about it then. But kind of, I feel like the movement is a little slow. I feel like it's a little bit of slow paced when it doesn't need to be in that game. But generally, I love the story and the characters and the writing. I thought the game was really fun. And they announced the sequel, Oxenfree 2: Lost Signal. All we know so far is just a very vague trailer showing some like imagery that kind of relates to stuff that happened in the first game, and that's all we know. So I'm pretty excited to see what they do with it. They kind of took a break and did After Party, which I haven't played. The studio, what is the studio that makes this? That's right here in front of me. It's
I've heard After Party's good.
Let's see, Night School, yeah, Night School Studios, yeah. And I've heard Night Party. What is it called? I just said it.
After Party.
After Party, yes. It's pretty good. I heard that the story isn't the best ever, but it's very funny and it has good voice acting. So I do want to play that someday. But they took a break to do that, and then they came back and they're like, "Well, let's make a sequel to our first game." So they're making a sequel. Like I said, not enough information to really talk too much about, but it was one of the hype moments for me watching these trailers for E3, and I was like probably one of the only people getting excited for it. But I'm pretty damn stoked, so it's gonna be good.
I don't even remember seeing a trailer for it. If I did, I probably just blanked it out because I haven't played the first one yet. So I was like, oh, phew, one fewer game than I need to think about right now.
All right, well, what do you got, man? What you got?
Yeah, so this one is not a new announcement, but I think they announced the release date in E3.
Okay.
I had never heard it until then, but it's Sable.
Yeah.
Sable, probably my most anticipated indie release at this point, because if you watch the trailers, it's basically like a little bit of Journey, a little bit of Eco, has a cel-shaded art style, and it has like this like almost like I don't know, like Tatooine, Star Wars-y kind of feel to the environments and stuff. It's just like a nice mashup of everything I love, and I'm so excited to check this one out. And they announced that it's coming out in September.
Yes.
Which is increasingly becoming a very stacked month.
Yeah. We just heard, what's it called? What's the name of that game? You know what I'm talking about.
That video game.
That
Kena. Bridge of Spirits.
Kena, yeah. That got delayed. Like, literally, as we were recording this, I heard that today. So
Kena being one of my other most anticipated games this year, maybe my two most anticipated. So the back half of this year is just going to be, it's going to be a nonstop rock block of games.
Yeah, those two, and then it's not indie, but I've been looking forward to Deathloop for 2 or 3 years also. So that's in September also. So I'm pumped. That game I knew about for a while now. It originally got announced in 2018.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I had to look it up. I was like, man, I've known about that for a while. But I agree with you. The art style, the gameplay, and honestly, the newer trailers look even nicer than the old trailers looked. And the old trailers, like, damn, that looks amazing. Like, it has a really cool look to it. Very striking imagery. And then nowadays, I look at the newest one, I'm like, wow, this looks even better somehow. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it was really awesome. I missed the announcement of it back in the day, but like a week or two before E3, a friend of mine, she and I have very similar tastes in games, was like, have you seen this game called Sable? She's always looking for stuff that has like that kind of feel, like that Ueda game feel, or like Hyper Light Drifter kind of feel. She's like, have you seen Sable? And I was like, no. She's like, oh my gosh, look up a trailer. It looks amazing. It's exactly your type of game. And I looked it up and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And so I was hyped on it. And then in like a week later in E3, they have a trailer that I think was revealing the release date being only a couple months away. And I was like, I'm getting like the perfect 3-month hype cycle on this game. This is exactly what you want.
Yeah, not like waiting like, well, that game will eventually come out, but no, it's imminent. That's pretty awesome. Speaking of a game that we don't know when it's coming out, but I like lost my mind when I saw they announced Moss Book 2.
Oh, I know. Yes. Give it to me.
Oh man, I watched that trailer probably 15 times when I first saw it, because like I just played Moss this year, like for this show, you know, just like getting more into VR and stuff, and I absolutely loved it, and it was one of my favorite games I played last year. And seeing this trailer, knowing it's a continuation of the story, which I guess slight spoilers, but they leave it on a cliffhanger. Like, it's literally a cliffhanger. Like, there's something happens and it's like, okay, the game's over. And you're like, no, I want more. So finally we get more, but we don't know when it's going to be. So I don't know if we don't know if it's going to be PSVR 1 or PSVR 2. They didn't even say that. They just say, oh, it's PSVR. Like, cool. It could be on the PS5 headset for all I know, you know?
I mean, maybe this is me being a little bit selfish, but I almost would want them to delay it like a year or however long, and time it as one of the launch games with PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Like, I love PSVR, but those old headsets are definitely starting to show their age compared to more modern VR headsets, and playing it with just like a little less restrictive of a setup would be awesome.
Yeah.
Especially in my like living room gaming setup for PSVR has the camera faces behind where I sit is a big whiteboard, like a huge, like you'd see in like a school, and so that whiteboard catches the reflection of the back of my headset and will mess up motion tracking. And so I have to, usually if I want to play a PSVR game, I'll like go get a bed sheet and I'll have to like drape it over the whiteboard so that it doesn't have to do that, so it doesn't mess up the tracking. And so if they can just, give me a new, cleaner headset with inside-out tracking, a little better identification of your movements, I'll be a happy camper.
I agree there. And here's another weird setup. My brother, right? So I came up here. I haven't seen my brother in years, but he had a PSVR setup. He does, which is literally he got PVC pipe with my grandpa and made a PVC stand for his camera so he can move it around his room.
Oh, smart.
And put like a Velcro thing on his camera, and then put like his headset on. Like, he made a stand out of PVC pipe, so he has like this like kind of DIY like VR setup. So if he wants to like move it across his room and just like, okay, this is my VR setup now, he can. Which I thought that was pretty creative.
That's pretty smart. I respect that. Yeah,
yes,
that's good stuff.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to PSVR 2, like having, if it's kind of like Quest where you can like make your room inside the VR, like you draw the boundaries, and then it just uses the tracking on the hands, it's the inside the head. Instead of having a camera and like PSVR, I mean PS Moves that are what, like 15 years old or whatever now to use,
Yeah. It's definitely going to be the first VR themed episode after Moss 2 comes out that we do. We're going to have to get into a little bit of a fisticuffs to decide who gets to bring Moss Book 2, because I bet we're both going to want to bring that. Or
we can both just like, this is our show, let's just both bring it and talk about it. Who cares, at that point.
Look at you with the open, friendly, inviting spirit of IndieQuest.
Yeah. It's still there. It was always in my heart. I get to open it back up like an old locket,
The Pacific Northwest has changed you, man. Where's that cold, bitter guy I used to know?
Oh, well, the weather got cooler, so I got, more warm.
There we go. Okay, so here's one that, speaking of Pacific Northwest, is something that I'm actually super pumped for. Lake. Have you seen the trailer for Lake, or are you aware of this game?
It's that roguelike game coming from the Tacoma people, right? Am I wrong about that? Is that not the Tacoma people?
No,
that's a different game.
That's something else.
No,
so
Lake.
Is,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, in Lake you play as a mail carrier, like a USPS worker, in a town that seems to me, based on the trailers, to be sort of like a suburb of Seattle or Portland or something like that. It has that sort of vibe to it, and it's just you walking like with a shoulder strap mailbag, delivering letters into people's mailboxes, and then getting to know people around the town, getting to like build relationships with them, learn what's going on in their lives. Sort of like probably I guess like a little bit of a walking simulator, but with a little bit more like mechanics of at least walking around the town and delivering mail. But my I don't know, I'm just such a sucker for it. My dad, even though he wasn't the guy delivering mail to your mailbox, he worked at USPS basically his whole adult life. driving truck, and so I'm excited to play a game that is like my tone of game, but I get to assume in some way the role that my dad took on too. It's like, ooh, sign me up. Plus, it just has real chill energy.
But yeah, I do like that. It looks really nice. And the thing I was confusing it with, that was the Fulbright game, which who made Tacoma, was Open Roads, which we talked about earlier. So,
Oh yeah, obviously Open Roads. Sign me up.
but yeah, the gameplay looks really nice. It just looks like a game that, well, it's inviting, I guess is the word I think of when I watch a trailer here. So I'm looking forward to it too. It's just the thing about it is like this E3 especially, they had like, I don't know, 500 indie games. You know what I mean? So when I see something, I'm like, oh yeah, that one. You know?
Yeah, there's so many, and they're still trickling out because there was E3, but then Summer Game Fest is still just like an ongoing, never-ending Jeff Keighley fever dream. So we still get announcements randomly trickling out, and who knows? It's a lot of video games coming out.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of a game where you're just kind of like UPS guy, chill, driving in the. It's a Pacific Northwest, also. You said right here. At least it looks like it.
I don't know if it actually is, but
I mean, I can look out my window.
I
It looks the same.
just assume.
I can see some mountains right there.
You recognize those trees in that lake?
But yeah, I mean, a game where you're just kind of talking to people and interacting with people, and that just sounds super chill and nice. So that looks good.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that one. I think it'll be fun. Do you have anything else that jumped out at you or that you're excited for?
I'm trying to think of this one. What is this one?
What is that one game you're thinking of?
Yeah,
what's a game that I would know that you know about? Is it Demon Turf? I know we're both looking forward to Demon Turf, but that was
Ooh.
announced before
looks
E3.
fun.
Although I did think that they in E3 might have had a trailer that possibly announced a release date. I want to say it's coming out this year now.
Yeah, I do think it is, and I know that I've had a version on Steam you can play that's like a one level that you can speedrun. They've been having like speedrun challenges on that. That's pretty cool. That game looks fun. I haven't tried that little demo either, but there was one that's on the tip of my tongue. Tongue. I don't think I remember how to drive drive. I was reading and then trying to talk at the same time. I don't think I know how to talk anymore. Oh my god! All right, well,
those words are driving right out.
was this? Is this the one I was thinking of? Replaced? I think it is, or one of them. This game is beautiful. Yes, it's one of them. This game Replaced. It was announced at the Xbox event, and it's a 2.5D retro futuristic looking game, pixelated backgrounds, kind of mixed with 3D. Very striking art style. And here's the description of this. A 2.5D platformer puts you in control of Reach, RE8, it's an acronym, Reach, an AI trapped in a human body as it struggles to unravel the mysteries of Phoenix City. So, I like the look of it. I'm not sure if you've seen any trailers for it or anything, but it definitely has that super dark and moody, like, cyberpunk feel to it, and it looks like it has some kind of, like, beat-em-up combo system in it also. And, like,
nice.
platforming where you're, like, grabbing on ledges and, like, doing kind of an Uncharted-looking things in 2.5D, So it looks pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Seems cool. I'm trying to think what else came out. I think maybe the last one that is jumping to the top of my mind is a game called White Shadows. Did you see the trailer for that? So I don't want to be reductive about it, but if you like Limbo, you'll probably like White Shadows. It has that same sort of like 2D puzzle platformer vibe. It's also all black and white. Seems like, Limbo or Inside meets like maybe a little bit of like Shady Part of Me or something like that, but it's got a real good look to it, and every couple of years I'm totally down to just play another game like that. Like a nice 3-hour long, like sort of quiet mostly dialogue-free puzzle platformer with just some kind of like pseudo creepy vibes going on. I think my appetite for that is just about hitting again, so I think it'll come at the right time.
Yeah, I like the look of it. I actually haven't seen this one before, so it's new to me. I'm putting it on my list right now as you're talking about it. They had EA Play also, and they had that one game with the dice. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's not. I guess it's published by EA, so it's not technically indie. Lost in Random. Have you seen the gameplay for that?
No, I haven't.
So think Tim Burton claymation style. How do I describe this? Third person shooter / card game / 3D platformer.
Oh, well then.
If you look up EA Play gameplay, you'll see some of it. So you have some turn-based combat kind of with random chance where you can like use the cards that you collect throughout the entire thing and then use dice rolls. You have like a character that's a dice that you roll to like go to different areas in the map. And then I think it's kind of like a roguelike where you have to like defeat enemies in different zones and try to like unlock the entire map from what I can tell. And like the cards in here give you power up as you're shooting people, and occasionally you can stop time and do turn-based battles as well. So I was like, I didn't expect it to have like a card game mechanic to it, but that's cool.
You know, that's so funny because now that I'm looking at the footage for this, I have seen this game before. Just the other day, I was flipping through the PSN, and this one jumped out at me. And in the really quick jump and look through the screenshots, I was like, "Oh man, this has a real look to it." And then I saw that it was like a card game, and without reading any more about it, I just assumed that it was like a deck builder, Slay the Spire kind of game. I didn't even realize that there was 3D platforming or anything like that. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, maybe." But now I'm seeing it, I'm like, "Oh heck yeah, that looks really cool."
Same here. When you say card games, I go, nope. But this feels like it's the card game thing is kind of like an additive layer on top of like there's platforming areas and then, like I said, shooter areas we have to defeat enemies. So I feel like it just adds a little bit more strategy, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, in watching the trailer, more interested in this one. So good pick. And then this one, it must either be out now or it must be about to get released because, like I said, I saw it on PSN, but I didn't click in to see if it was pre-order or if I could just purchase it.
So yeah, I was looking it up, and the release date for that game is September 10th. So another September game.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's not at all jam-packed.
All right. Well. Cool. I think that's going to call it for an episode. I know it was a more off-the-cuff type thing, but it was kind of just us getting back down, talking on some mics, getting the flow going again so we can get back to, logging some games on the old Quest log.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had a chance to chat in a while. I mean, we've interacted here and there, but we haven't had a chance to like just go back and forth. So I was feeling kind of punchy during this episode. I'm feeling kind of pop, 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 pop. So hopefully people will entertain us. And if you thought this was the worst episode of IndieQuest of all time, well, one, I don't know why you listened all the way to this end point, but two, these are not very common. Normally, we're a little more structured, we're a little more informative,
segmented.
With some silliness.
We usually have like 50 different types of segments going on.
Yeah, the podcast known for introducing 1,000 segments and then almost never using them again a second time.
But
more segments than episodes.
Just let us know if you like this kind of episode where we're just kind of just like talking, because that's what podcasting is, right? So if you guys like an episode with no segments or like loose segments like it is here, let us know and we'll do probably more in the future. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you to everyone who, kept the sub up on the feed during our bit of a gap. If you didn't listen to the episode somewhere before this, it was not too long ago on the release schedule. Maybe the one previous, maybe one or two previous, with Pam Cannot Be Tamed. Go listen to that episode, too, because it was dang good.
Yeah, there's the one with Pam, and then there was one where I was complaining about that game again. So, a lot of West of Loathing I hated, apparently, et cetera, et cetera. How long can I make that joke go? I think it's already run its course by now. But yeah, I had like a little editor note at the beginning, like, yeah, this episode was recorded a while ago. So yeah, yeah. Hopefully you guys are cool with us just rambling, and I guess we'll have a new episode soon because we're here, we're back.
Yep, excited to be back. Thanks for listening, everybody. And yeah, get pumped. This is, no matter what type of game you like, this is a phenomenal year for games just based on the release schedule. So, get hyped for 2021.
Cool. And do you want to do some plugs real quick? Just super quick?
Yeah, if people want to find me, you can find me on Twitter or Twitch as Blinkoom. That's OOM, like out of mana. And yeah, you want to see me stream some indie games, as I often do, indie retro and the occasional modern, come hang out on the Twitch channel. It is a lot of fun.
It's the same handle. And what days do you stream usually?
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, plus whatever bonus days I'm feeling. On Tuesdays, I always do Dragon Age, at least now until I beat it. And then on Thursdays and Fridays, it's usually an indie or a retro game, as my tastes tend to be. So yeah, those streams usually start around 6 or 7 Central, give or take. So come hang out.
Awesome. I'm a fan, obviously. I've been subbed since the beginning, since you started. So I enjoy your streams. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Frantic Society, and my other 2 podcasts is Frantic Thoughts, where I tell you about my frantic thoughts, literally. And then I have a podcast with my buddy Rusty Lewis called Box Office Bliss, which is starting back up too. We're doing our Fast and Furious 9 review soon, which the movie was ridiculous. They had magnet cars, so if you want to hear about that. Did they go to the space? Probably. And was it funny? Yes, it was hilarious. So we're going to talk about that on episode might already be out, but it's going to be out soon. It's going to be out around the same time as this one, so be on the lookout for that. And we're on the Polymedia Network. I would say let's just do a very simple plug for that. Go to www.polymedianetwork.com and check out all our awesome shows over there.
Yeah, many, many cool shows. Some that feature us, some that don't. So whether you like us or not, there's a show for you.
Of course, check out Polykill, because Steve's over there talking to some guy that I kind of know. He's all right. If you want to hear about them beating some games, that's definitely a place to go.
For sure. Well, as we round off this almost hour-long rambler of an episode, normally you throw it to me, but I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna throw it to you. Why don't you say goodbye and give some final words of wisdom to the good people?
As a guy who's not very wise, I would like to say thank you for listening, and hey, go hug a loved one.
Good advice.
I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to be all sentimental. Go play an indie game and think about us. Be like Wolverine in that. And you can't be like Wolverine anymore in that meme where he's holding the picture frame with the IndieQuest logo in it anymore. We're back, so enjoy. Thank you guys for listening. Just like the episode, I'm rambling now, so I love you. We both do, and we'll catch you next time. If you guys didn't know, I guess I should just tell everybody what happened. I moved across country, so I haven't had my setup like... Okay? That's about how it's gonna go.
Is that a dog?
Yeah, it's my dog. I call him Miss Woofy, because she goes, woof, woof, woof. What? Stop. Dude. You had to start right when I start. Okay.
Oh, that's so good.
Ah, you always need blooper reel stuff anyway, so.